What's up, everybody, and welcome on back to the episode of the My Side of Things podcast. This is now episode 15. I'm your host, as always, Ash. We got a whole lot of things on the docket to get to today, including talking about AEW Spring Breakthrough in totality. There's a reason why I took an extra day with this episode. I wanted to make sure I had all of it and not had to break it up since it is right back to back. We're also going to be talking about the Owen Hart Cup tournament and who possibly has the best storyline of the potential storylines if they are the one to dethrone Jon Moxley and Tony Storm. We also got to talk about one Seth Rollins, and is he the best wrestler that WWE's had in the past 10 years? Talking about WWE. We also got to talk about this horrible PR week from WWE, and we are going to be leading things off with AEW versus WWE, who's had the better first quarter. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Remember, if you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, like, follow, rate, share, all that great stuff, but it really helps the dang channel out. So when we talk about the best first quarter between WWE and AEW, we are only talking about January, February, and March. I will say this, though. I want to be fair. So we are going to include anything that happened the last week of December or the first week of April, or any storylines that potentially concluded in January, February, March. So like Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens started a bit before January, February, March, but then it ended up concluding. So I will add in that great storyline that was, going into January, February, March. Well, it ended in January, but y'all get what I mean by that. Okay, so the first one we're going to be starting off with, my bad, I got horribly jumbled up here. I really need to just put this on Google Docs or something and not my notes app. There's like no way to actually jump between episodes and all that. I have everything written in my notes app. It's just, no. Okay, so we're going to be starting off first, though, with PLEs/pay-per-views. I will include the specials in here as well. So Maximum Carnage, Grand Slam, Fight for the Fallen, Saturday Night's Main Event, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to say overall, we're going to start with WWE's pros, and then we'll go to AEW's pros. So WWE's pros are not Saturday Night's Main Event. I'll tell you, that whole thing was basically just a snooze fest, so we'll kind of just ignore that one. Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble, once again, was just a fantastic Royal Rumble. They usually are pretty dang good to really damn elite. I feel like the Royal Rumbles for the women's side of things have just been better over the past couple of years. The winners, you can go back and forth on if they're better. In my opinion, I think they usually have like the right pick for the Women's Royal Rumble. And then the other side of things was Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. That match was just an absolutely amazing match. I love the story going into it. I love that both of these guys were fighting over this WWE Undisputed Championship, who was the real Undisputed Champion, seeing as Kevin Owens did technically pin Cody Rhodes, but obviously he didn't, get the official win because of the fact that, there was no ref in the ring and all that stuff. So I really did it like that. Then you had, what was the other match that we had? No, my bad. Not the other match, because the other two matches I did not care for at all. But you had that going into it, and then you had like just the crazy amount of just spots that happened in this match. Obviously the biggest one being when Cody Rhodes threw Kevin Owens through the ladder. I really love the end sequence where Cody Rhodes is just holding up both championships over Kevin Owens. I wish he actually would have held onto the winning championship and dropped the other one, because I don't really care for that regular championship. But those are the two big highlights for that one. Saturday Night's Main Event, like I said, no highlights in my opinion. I just didn't really find much interesting there. And then for the Elimination Chamber, it's the Women's Elimination Chamber. I think the men's one was fine. The men's one just had a bunch of star power, though. There were like no interesting moments in this whole entire thing. I guess no. The most interesting thing was Seth Rollins curve stomping CM Punk, and then John Cena hitting the STF on it. Well, not hitting the STF, hit him. I thought there was like something on my ceiling for a second. He got him with the STF, and then he was able to make CM Punk pass out so that he could go on to win Elimination Chamber. And then that was really it from there. There was nothing in that match. I'm sorry. The women's one just shined a lot more. You had the whole stuff with Jade and Naomi going into it. Then we had Bianca, which she actually won this match after everything that she just went through to start this match. Liv, Alexa Bliss, Bayley were all absolutely fantastic. You had the really crazy moment where Bianca just just whips Liv Morgan, and it's just so damn loud. Just vibrates throughout the entire stadium. You got this big old mark just right on her back. It was just an absolutely amazing Women's Elimination Chamber match. And then you had the heel turn from John Cena. But I'm going to be real with you. I don't fully care for this heel turn. And I'm going to go more. No, I'll talk about it here. And then y'all can hear me kind of add anything I need to add to it when we talk about the storylines and all that stuff. This heel turn for me, absolutely amazing, but the everything afterwards really just downplays this heel turn for me because it confirms what I said from the beginning. This heel turn should have happened at WrestleMania. If you why does that feel weird the way I said it? WrestleMania. Mania. There we go. That's why. Oh my gosh. WrestleMania. Sound hella country for a second. My goodness, man. Yeehaw. But like, this should have happened at WrestleMania, though. I don't get why it happened at Elimination Chamber. Ooh, you get a really big pop in Toronto. You would have gotten the pop of pops at WrestleMania. Like, why do I keep saying it like that, Mike? Whatever, man. You know, we're just gonna go with it, man. That's gonna be a title for this episode. But yeah, no, there was just nothing going forward after that. You eventually did get like the really good promo from John Cena. Then we got Cody and Cena like at the last day of March. But it's like just no. I'm sorry. It's just not it for me. I'm gonna be real with you. So the turn and the moment are great. The aftermath, I feel like, lessens the moment for me. And if you say that's not fair to say, if you read a book and the first chapter was awesome, you got a super big moment in the first chapter where, let's say, you got like the main character and the rival just turns evil, but then the rival does nothing for like the next couple of chapters, and then finally in like the tail end of like finally at like the end of the first volume, now the rival pulls up, but we have all these, you know, face to face between the rival and the main character within like chapters 2 through 4, or like 2, 3, or 4, but there's no actual conflict between 2, 3, or 4. We had Cody Rhodes and John Cena in the ring multiple times and nothing happened. It just, no, I'm sorry. So the heel turn was great. It doesn't really feel as great anymore, though, in my opinion. Like I said, I would have just had him win. I mean, I would have had him just do it at WrestleMania. So, yeah. The Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn unsanctioned match, it just didn't even feel good, in my opinion. It had a really weak build-up, and the match just felt like whatever. It didn't feel like an unsanctioned match by any means. It just felt like two dudes that were just having an Extreme Rules match, but you got to call it unsanctioned because Sami Zayn is kayfabe hurt. So it's like, I don't really, no, I'm sorry. That match was fine. I just didn't really care for it. Same thing with the MCMG DIY match. I've got to talk about that one at Royal Rumble. I didn't care for that match either. That thing put me to sleep. How do you have a 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere? 2 out of 3 falls match, and it's just boring, but you have two of the best tag teams in the world. That's crazy to me. And then the Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae match at Elimination Chamber. Yeah, no, another snooze fest. I just did not care for it by any means. It was a very boring match. Now, for AEW, the pros here are Maximum Carnage was just decent. It was pretty cool. Fight for the Fallen, just decent as well. So I'm not really even going to talk about those two. Those two are kind of like on the level of Saturday night's main event for me. I will say Jon Moxley versus Powerhouse Hobbs was amazing. Revolution, though, I think is where you really... No, Revolution and Grand Slam are what things really, really pick up, because the highlights of the night for Grand Slam, Mercedes Moné versus Harley Graham was an amazing match, in my opinion, especially for someone who's not the most talented in-ring wrestler when it comes to actually doing the graps and all that stuff in Harley Cameron. The fact that I had to say her name is crazy, because I know a lot of y'all would have tried to say that Mercedes Moné was the one. Yeah, no, I ain't like y'all. I'm not talking about Mercedes Moné being a horrible wrestler. That's the corniest thing in the world. Then you had Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. Absolutely fire match. One of my favorite matches of the year so far. We had Kazuchika Okada versus Buddy Matthews. Sadly, Buddy did get injured, so it kind of makes sense as to why that match did go the way it went. But it was still a pretty damn good match regardless, though. I really did enjoy it. The main event was whatever. I'm going to be real with you. I did not care about Jon Moxley and, what was that, Claudio Castagnoli versus Jay White and Cope. I didn't care for it. I was not here for it in the slightest. And I really had hoped that it was going to lead to Jay White versus Jon Moxley, not Cope versus Jon Moxley. So that really even hurts it for me even more. So yeah, no, that one's just, I'm sorry. But Grand Slam overall was a pretty dang good show. Oh, and then, oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Toni Storm, Mariah May was an absolutely phenomenal match. I loved the hell out of it, especially at the end when it became just like a finisher fest. Yeah, I loved the hell out of every second of that match. Really wish it was the main event, by the way. Then we have Revolution, and basically every match was enjoyable for me except for a few of them. The tag team match was just decent. It wasn't anything that like blew me away by any means. Kazuchika Okada, no, my bad. Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita did not live up to the hype in my opinion. Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King, it was a much better tag team match the night before against, what was that, Swerve Strickland, he was tagging with Ricochet, than it was with these two guys just having a one-on-one match. But everything else there was absolutely amazing. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe, Hangman Adam Page versus MJF, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. You had Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. I'm not forgetting another match. There's a bunch of matches. Oh, yeah. Tony versus Mariah. Why do I keep forgetting this match? I feel so disrespectful forgetting that match. The ending, the Hollywood ending, it was top tier, in my opinion. Amazing way to close the story out. And then, I'm going to be real with you. I really liked Swerve. I really liked Cope versus Jon Moxley. I didn't want the match by any means, but I actually liked it. And for people that say, like, oh, it felt very WWE-esque, well, I mean, at the moment, I still have some like for WWE. You know what? I'll say this. I don't care for anybody that's really in the business, but I will say that there are things I like about WWE still. So for now, at least, unless I just hear something that really, really hurts me to my core, which is, we'll get to it in a little bit. But yeah, no, I still have some like for WWE. So seeing Jon Moxley and Cope go at it, it did feel very WWE-esque, but it wasn't a problem to me. And we got Christian out of here in the best way possible, in my opinion, by having him be the one that loses, which eventually led to, that wasn't a special, was it? I don't think that was a special that they had that match on. No, it wasn't. I think it was just a regular Dynamite. But that eventually led to Cope versus Jon Moxley in a street fight, which is what it should have always been, in my opinion. I don't understand why you didn't do it. Also, I did really like the story going into Jon Moxley versus Cope, where Cope's just taking out all the Death Riders. And then, you know, you have Christian, the one guy that has always just been a thorn in the side for Cope over these past few years, really for a long time now. So I did really like that. Overall, I'm giving this to AEW. I feel like WWE just has, like, come on. Saturday Night's Main Event was a mess. Royal Rumble was okay. You can even make a case that Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble now just seems kind of whack because of the fact that him and Gunther had a horrible storyline up until like a week ago. And then, you know, it was 2 weeks where it was really good because you had Jimmy get taken out. Then you had Jey cutting that promo on Gunther. But then this past Monday, we have Jey Uso there for some reason, not acting like Crash Out Jey Uso and yeeting with the crowd. And it just felt dumb, in my opinion. I would have either had Jey Uso not show up or had Jey Uso walk in at the end of Gunther's promo after he was like cutting that crazy promo, because it was really damn good, and to stand in the crowd while the entire crowd is just yeeting for Jey Uso and he's just staring him down. I would have loved that. The fact that we're not getting a stipulation for that match either makes this whole entire feud even worse. So yeah, I just don't care for Jey Uso winning the Rumble anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be cool to see him win the World Heavyweight Championship, but I just don't really care for it. I'd rather have this man just win that Saturday Night's Main Event to make that thing, you know, special a lot better. So yeah, Royal Rumble was just kind of there, in my opinion, and the Elimination Chamber was also just kind of there, especially everything after the women's match. It's 3 straight matches that were just decent at best. And then, you know, the heel turn that I thought was much better if it would have happened at WrestleMania than it would have been had it happened at Elimination, or than it would have been than happening at Elimination Chamber. Goodness gracious, it's hard to speak sometimes. I feel like Shelton Benjamin stumbling on my words right now, man. So yeah, no, I'm giving the pay-per-views /PLEs /specials to AEW. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the live shows, live events, whatever the heck you want to call them. The Raw, SmackDown, Collision, Dynamite. This one, look at, man. This part where a lot of folks probably already called me biased. Matter of fact, y'all probably already called me biased in the dang pay-per-views, PLE stuff. This is where y'all definitely gonna call me biased at, man, because WWE shit the bed. I'm sorry. WWE shit the bed. SmackDown was a mess, and I don't want to hear anybody tell me any different, because most WWE fans are saying that SmackDown is unwatchable. I would be going live all the time watching SmackDown, and every single one of y'all would be saying, it is so hard to watch SmackDown. It's so boring. What happened? I'm not even watching it. I don't care to watch it. I'm just going to go catch the highlights on YouTube. clearly folks ain't even want to watch the show. Then SmackDown got a little better, but Raw really wasn't doing much either. That Netflix show, it was a miss. It was an absolute miss. Triple H said it's going to be the biggest moment in WWE history. Something crazy, crazy stuff is really going to be happening. What, Roman Reigns getting the damn Ulafala back? Ooh, wow. He got the Ulafala back, but he still didn't have his tribe. So what the heck was the point of getting the Ulafala back if you're not going to have your tribe back? It was stupid. I don't care for it. And the dumbest part is Solo Sikoa still has Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Even though, Jacob Fatu and Solo are kind of, butting heads right now, he still has his tribe. My bad. Roman doesn't. Jimmy Uso's out here getting killed. Sammy Uso is out here getting killed. And Jey Uso, it might just get killed or at least threaten to kill people. One of the two. What the heck does Roman actually have? Oh, yeah, not to mention the fact that the guy that he worked with going into Survivor Series, he's now feuding with. So, yeah, no, it was just completely stupid. Rhea Liv was stupid. What else happened at the Netflix show? I don't even remember, to be honest. Wasn't there like just 4 kind of whatever match? Oh, CM Punk Seth Rollins was actually really good. I will give you that one. And the other match, because I can't remember it, that's how bad it is. I'm going to be real with you. So, wasn't it, was it Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre? Oh, God, it was somebody. I don't remember who it was. But yeah, no, the Netflix show was just whatever. The show's, oh, no, my bad. It was Lyra versus, no, it wasn't Lyra versus Dakota, because we couldn't do another women's match on the dang Netflix show. The very first show where, hey, inaugural women's champion, maybe want to have it here so that we can show them off, so that people can get to be like, whoa, this is a very new champion within WWE. Very first time ever having a women's intercontinental championship. I'm really locked in on this. Nope, we ain't do that. So yeah, no, that Raw show just sucked. You didn't really do much with SmackDown the following night either. I didn't really care for much that just happened throughout this time. Like, Raw had what? You had John Cena pull up. You had, mind you, you had The Rock give a really weird promo at Monday Night Raw as well. And then, speaking of The Rock, we eventually got some very weird, disturbing promos with him and Cody Rhodes that made me have to go talk to my therapist and really had Cody Rhodes talking to HR because this man, The Rock, was actually sexually harassing him by touching this man's face so many damn times and just rubbing it. It was really, really weird. So yeah, no, that was trash. The whole stuff with Gunther and Jay going into Saturday Night's main event was just whatever. Then we continued it afterwards. We kind of already knew that Jay was going to lose, seeing as he was in the Royal Rumble, even though technically speaking, you can win the World Heavyweight Championship and still be in the Royal Rumble if you really wanted to. But like Saturday Night's main event being a week before Royal Rumble was just dumb to me. The Elimination Chamber matches were cool, but I'm going to be real with you. We had John Cena just politic his way in. We had CM Punk versus Sami Zayn, which was pretty good, but I don't know. Nothing just really felt that interesting to me. I would have put Finn Balor in that match instead of literally Damian Priest. I'm sorry. I like Finn Balor a lot more than I like Damian Priest, though. Not saying Damian Priest is bad by any means. I actually really like Damian Priest. The people that hate on Damian Priest, I think you're really weird, in my opinion. Like, it's like the hate just feels like this whole, they're not a main eventer, they shouldn't be holding World Heavyweight Championships. I don't think y'all understand that just because you hold the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship, it doesn't necessarily make you a main eventer. When Seth Rollins held it back in 2016, he wasn't a main eventer by any means. He was still below a lot of the top guys. He was just becoming a main eventer. Damian Priest is a bit older in age now, so he doesn't have the potential to be a main eventer someday. So they're just throwing him in that World Heavyweight Championship scene, but I digress from that. Yeah, no, there's just nothing there. And then we eventually had like Rhea and Nia having feuds with each other, which I just did not care for. Then we had, we had Io and Liv have their match, and then Rhea gets involved in the match, which cost Io the match. Then we set up Rhea and Io. And mind you, because we had that actually happen with Rhea getting involved, we now had to get Rhea versus Io versus Bianca, where we turned Rhea into a spoiled little bitch, and it was just the most annoying thing ever. And when I call her a bitch, I'm not calling her a bitch in the sense of like I'm calling a woman a bitch. I'm just saying by the way that she was acting was a bitch, not like how Pat McAfee called Caitlin Clark this white bitch. No, that was crazy. So yeah, no, I'll just call her spoiled little brat from going forward. That's on me. But yeah, no, it really just led to a horrible storyline with these three. Then we we started cooking with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, but we didn't really do much after this because we had a steel cage match that got ruined by Roman Reigns getting involved in the match and setting up a pointless feud at WrestleMania for a pointless main event that Seth Rollins had to save and actually make interesting because the favor clearly did not do it. I like the favor, buddy. You hyped the favor up for months just for it to be Paul Heyman walking out with walking out with CM Punk. It doesn't sound that great when you say it like that, especially when you're like, wait, doesn't Paul Heyman have a lot of pull in WWE? Couldn't he potentially get CM Punk like a much better thing? I don't know. I mean, again, great for these guys, for Paul Heyman, CM Punk. Paul Heyman will be able to walk out with them and all that stuff. No, my bad. Paul Heyman, not Paul Heyman. Man, this guy's a hoe out here. But like, it's a great moment, but it's just like, I don't know if it's like favor worthy in my opinion. I'm probably not asking for that. I would just ask you myself and be like, hey, yo, would you walk out with me? That's also kind of weird, though. These guys all have wives fighting over a man, which is, hey, man, y'all do what y'all want to do. I'm surprised that Roman Reigns is fighting over a man, though, seeing as who he aligns with politically. Zinger! Got my shot in. Yeah, no, Seth Rollins definitely hit that curve stop a little harder this time. CM Punk, hit that little GTS a little harder this time, will you? But yeah, no, the live shows for Raw, SmackDown were just kind of mid, in my opinion. The worst thing, though, that I have to say about this is that you did nothing with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is your future. Your future. And this guy has basically been absent the entirety of your first quarter. Lyra Valkyria, Chelsea Green are your inaugural women's champions that basically did the exact same thing for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, fighting the same exact people over and over. Your tag teams on Raw and SmackDown they actually got really bad, especially on Raw. SmackDown, they actually started winding down. They started slowing down just a bit. So, yeah, no, I'm sorry. The Raw and SmackDown stuff was just that bad that I feel like I don't even have to mention a lot of stuff for AEW to just get the win here. But I'm going to go ahead and mention some things anyways. Dynamite Collision were just consistently, we're just collectively the more consistent show. Everybody has been saying that each Dynamite has been a better Dynamite than the last Dynamite. It's been the best show of the year every single dang time. And Collision, for the most part, has just been pretty damn good, in my opinion. It's been carrying over, it does like a pretty good job of carrying over the stories, not, exhausting them so quickly, although I feel like sometimes they kind of do. But for the most part, it's pretty good. I swear I got to turn the stupid screen lock on. That's why it dropped all the way down here. Goodness gracious, I hate screen lock so much. I mean, I hate the fact that my phone's not just like, telepathic with me. I could just be like, screen lock phone. Wait, I have Siri, duh. Siri could do it for me. I probably should keep saying her name because then, boom, gonna pop up and start talking on this dang podcast. And ain't no one tell you this is open mic night, bitch. Side to Brandy, man. She a goat. Hey, man, you should put Brandy on Raw and SmackDown. Would have made that thing a lot better. But we had obviously some great stuff here because we had Timeless Tony Storm's return. We had Tony Storm with this whole rock star gimmick before that, Tony and Mariah. So that really did carry a lot of January, February, and March. We finally got Mercedes versus Athena set up. We had Megan Bayne and Tony Storm's awesome feud. We had Hurt Syndicate reviving the SmackDown, the AEW tag division just a bit. Swerve and Ricochet's feud was top tier. Harley Cameron becoming a star. Will and Kenny Omega feuding with Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and the rest of the Don Callis family. Like, I just can't think of any great feuds that were happening between January, February, and March for WWE other than the Cody KO feud that, ended in January. The Cody Cena stuff that I said did not get good until the end. I did not just pass gas, by the way. I know I lifted up like that and it might have looked like that. No, I was trying to lift my bum up, okay? I decided to wear sweats and I'm now regretting that decision because my cheeks are getting extra sweaty. Might have been a little too DIY, but you know what, though, man? This ain't Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa over here, man. Come on. And then the other pretty good storyline, at least for a minute, was Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I wonder how many people thought that I was actually passing gas the entire time that I was, like, lifting up like that. Damn, I should have said that in the other episode. I didn't even really think about that till now. Well, let me let y'all know, by episode 15, if you did make it this far, I have not been passing gas, okay? I know you might even hear like a little, that is the chair, not me. My chair is very trash. This thing, I'm pretty sure you can hear it. It's very, very trash. Very super trash chair. So yeah, no, that's not gas. That is the chair. That is not my ass. Let's go ahead and jump over to the top card, though, because this is where things are going to get interesting because AEW doesn't technically have a solidified top card the way WWE does. And what I mean by that is WWE lets you know who the top guys are because they show them off every damn freaking week and they shove them down your throats. AEW, on the other hand, we know who some of the best wrestlers are in AEW, but we've seen Will Ospreay be a guy that was in the mid-card scene for a long time. So it's like, is he a top card guy? Because Kyle Fletcher, I don't think it's a top card guy, but Will Ospreay was feuding with Kyle Fletcher. So it's really hard to say who the top guys are in AEW. For WWE, though, I mean, I kind of already explained a bit of it, but there wasn't really much going on with your top guys. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, they kind of had like, a feud now, but it's a very forced feud because we couldn't get Roman versus Rock, and we weren't going to do Roman versus Drew because we were already setting up Drew and Damian, but we had to, so we had to throw Roman into the Seth Rollins CM Punk stuff, which I feel like messed that whole storyline up in my opinion. As far as the women's side of things, Tiffany Stratton didn't do much. She didn't do much. Rhea didn't do much. Io has been in the same feud for the past couple of weeks now. Bianca was in the tag division, so yeah, and I guess because I'm saying Bianca's in the tag division, I could throw Will Ospreay into the top card because he is one like your, most popular guys on the roster. But it's like WWE's top guys just didn't do much. They didn't. They had either whatever storyline. Like I think Bianca had you had Bianca in the Jade and Naomi stuff, which is great, but then we remove her because obviously she didn't do anything. So it's like, well, now she has nothing other than potentially being the one that attacked Jade. Cool. Rhea had nothing. Tiffany had nothing until Charlotte got involved, and it was pretty dang good. Jay and Gunther sucked. Gunther has been feuding with, has been having matches with Otis and Akira Tozawa and Axiom. I like Axiom. NXT, tag team, not even a champion. So it's like, my bad, not even a top champion is what I meant to say. So it's like there's not really anything there for those guys. Then Drew McIntyre was doing kind of whatever. It looked like we were going to potentially get like a crash out group with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens, but we didn't get that. Then you have CM Punk kind of just, doing whatever with Seth. Oh, my bad. He had the feud with Seth Rollins going into the Raw on Netflix. Then afterwards, didn't do anything for the next 3 weeks when it came to Seth Rollins. Then went to the Royal Rumble, had a little stuff with Seth Rollins in the Royal Rumble. And then for the next 3 weeks, didn't do anything until, after Elimination Chamber. So, yeah, didn't do much either. Roman Reigns was basically not there. John Cena was basically not there. If you want to throw The Rock in there, you want to say he's one of your top card guys, he was basically not. No, he actually literally was not. No, never mind. My bad. He was there sexually harassing Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes was getting sexually harassed the entire time. What the hell was going on with the top card in WWE? Nothing at all. And if there's somebody in the top card that I missed, you can name them. I don't think I missed anybody though, because Nia Jax, since losing the belt, has done nothing. Diddly squat. Matter of fact, she ain't even squatted because she ain't hit nobody with an annihilator. So it's like nothing at all. I'm trying to think of other names, but like Bayley was just on a world tour. That's what she was doing. Shorty was everywhere but the show that she's supposed to be on because she's assigned to that show. So yeah, no, there's nothing here happening with your top guys at all, your top gals, nothing like that. AEW-wise, you had, like I said, Tony and Mariah in an amazing feud. You had Cope and you had Moxley at least doing something. Moxley for the first 2 months though probably wasn't doing much, to be fair. You had Swerve Strickland and Ricochet feuding, so that was pretty good. You had Hangman Adam Page and Christopher Daniels feuding. You had MJF feuding with some old retirement folk, and eventually started feuding with Hangman Adam Page. But I will say the first 2 months, again, just feuding with the retirement home folks. So yeah, I'll give you that one right there. Jay White wasn't doing much until he got involved. No, he was kind of doing something. Well, the first month he wasn't. No, he wasn't doing much the first month. Then he eventually got involved in the whole Death Rider stuff with Cope and FTR. So you had that. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? Mercedes Moné. I'm gonna call her a top card, even though technically speaking, she is. Well, no, it's. See, this is why I didn't want to count Will Ospreay, because it's so weird. Because if I count Will Ospreay, then I gotta count Mercedes Moné. But Mercedes Moné is a TBS champion, but she's also, technically speaking, in the top card as well. They were setting up to Mercedes, going against Toni Storm at All In. So it's like, I don't really know how the hell I judge Mercedes and Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay is top card in a really good feud with Kyle Fletcher, and then he's also having a really good feud with the Don Callis family. Mercedes Moné is a top carder in the TBS title scene, so I don't really know how I don't know how to judge this one. So I'm going to say that Mercedes Moné is a top carder, and also a top carder who was in the mid card, so she was at least doing something. If you want to say that she should have been the top card, I'm going to tell you, no, you're wrong. Because if we're setting up to Mercedes versus Toni Storm at All In, I'd rather have that than have Mercedes Moné eventually just come in and face off against Toni Storm real early. I had to look over to my left real quick because I thought my mic was peaking. Not peaking. Sometimes it will do that just out of nowhere. I have to stop, pause the recording, and then unpause it, and I'll be able to start talking and it'll get back to no, my bad. I don't pause it. I just lower the low volume, but it's at 38 right now on the playback feature. So I don't know why the heck it does it. It's really, really weird, but yeah, no, I would say AEW's top card has just been better because they've had actually good storylines. Again, Cody and KO, great. Tiffany and Charlotte, great. I guess I could view Mercedes the same way I view Tiffany, because I think Tiffany is a mid-carder, but she's in the top card scene. Mercedes is a top carder in the mid-card scene. So I guess I can judge Tiffany Stratton the same way that I would judge Mercedes Moné, which is putting them in both. Same thing with Will Ospreay as well. Put them in both. No. I'm not going to put Will Ospreay there because he doesn't have any mid-card belts right now. So yeah, no. I would say that WWE did have some things there. It's just 3 things at the most, though. I'll give you Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, so 4. It's 4, but for me, I feel like AEW just has a lot more and a lot better ones. You have Will and Kyle. You have Will and Kenny versus the Don Callis family. You have Tony and Mariah doing a lot for 2-3 months, and then you have Tony and Megan Bayne. You have Swerve and Ricochet for 2 straight months, and then we get Swerve versus Jon Moxley. You have Jon Moxley versus Cope, and then we get Jon Moxley versus Swerve, obviously. So there's a lot more there with AEW. So this one takes the edge, but it's not a clearing by any means. And it's funny because they literally did take the edge from WWE as well. They also took the Christian as well, too. That's why WWE became so MAGA-filled. It makes sense now. They took the real Christian out of there. Oh, man. Christian was the glue holding WWE together, man. So, yeah, for the top card, I'm giving it to AEW. Now, for the mid-card scene, this is where things are pretty close as well. Again, I'm keeping Mercedes here because she does have the mid-card champion, which is the TBS Championship. Konosuke Takeshita was doing absolutely phenomenal with this belt because he was having a really damn good feud with Kenny Omega and them. Kazuchika Okada was doing nothing, but at least he had a really good match against Buddy Matthews, and he had a pretty decent feud against Buddy and Brody, so I'll give him that, but it wasn't anything that I would, praise by any means. Daniel Garcia was doing little to nothing, basically. I'm going to be honest with you. So, yeah. Yeah, no, there was nothing here. I'm going to... How do I judge the tag division? Because I feel like I want to put the tag division in the mid-card scene, but I guess I probably shouldn't. Y'all can let me know down below if I should or shouldn't, or wherever the heck you're listening to this at. Just kind of whisper and I'll hear you. Don't worry. I hear everybody that whispers to me. Yep, that's how I be. But yeah, no. So because I don't know how I would judge the tag division, I have them here, but I have a question mark by them. I'm not going to count the tag division as mid-card scene. So since I'm not judging them, let's see what WWE has. Braun Breaker, who did nothing and didn't really have any feuds until he eventually started having some big moments, I guess, with the spears and all that stuff, but not any big feuds by any means. We couldn't even get the AJ Styles Braun Breaker feud. We had to get Braun Breaker, Penta, Dom, and Finn Balor, which I'm not mad at, but it's bruh. You teased Braun Breaker and AJ Styles and we don't even get it. I would have loved that match, bro. That match would have cooked. My goodness. So we don't have that set up. Chelsea Green is, again, going back and forth with Meechin and B-Fab. At least it's somewhat interesting. I'll say that. I'm not the most interested by it by any means because I just don't find Chelsea Green to be an interesting person. No offense, Chelsea Green, by the way. I have zero hate towards you. I just don't think your character is the most interesting, if I'm going to be honest. Lyra Valkyria has no absolute aura whatsoever. She did not have a good match with Ivy Nile or Dakota Kai. Ivy Nile and Dakota Kai actually had better matches against each other than they did with Lyra Valkyria. Hell, they had better matches versus other people than they did with Lyra Valkyria. So, yeah, there's nothing happening there. I'm going to be fair and throw Bayley in the mid-card, but to be fair, even by throwing her there, she does nothing. I'll just say her name, but she does nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing great appears. Tiffany Stratton was just doing stuff with Charlotte Flair, so there's that. What else is there? Oh, Shinsuke Nakamura did literally nothing with the belt. LA Knight eventually got the belt back and has still done nothing with the belt. Jacob Fatu has been the most interesting thing in this mid-card scene, in my opinion. Braun Strowman has just been an absolute mess, but that's usually just Braun Strowman. The Miz ain't really done much in the mid-card scene. He's kind of in the tag team scene now, but also kind of in the mid-card as well. I don't know what the hell the Miz is doing. Santos has been injured, so I'm not even going to count him. Let's see. Who am I forgetting? Because there are a lot of guys in the mid-card scene that are probably not supposed to be there. They either should be in the top card or they should be jobbers. Yeah, that's kind of just it. There's nothing there for the mid-card scene for WWE. So this one is definitely a clearing for AEW. I'm sorry. It is. And I'm not even going to touch too in-depth on the next one, which is storylines. I'm just going to say this. The storylines have been better in AEW. And here's where I have to get very, very critical of WWE, only because the fans made me do this. The fans tell me that WWE has the best storylines and that AEW has no storylines. What storylines are happening in WWE? From January, February, and March, Roman, Seth, and Punk has been absolutely awful until Seth actually saved the storyline, but that wasn't until like 2 weeks ago. So that's, again, past the week mark for me to be able to even count it. You have Tiffany and Charlotte. That was pretty decent. No, my bad. That was pretty damn good. Turned decent though the first week of April, and then you have John Cena and Cody Rhodes. It was basically just there. It wasn't really much there. And what the hell is the storyline with John Cena and did I say Seth Rollins? I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes. What is this John Cena Cody Rhodes storyline? Like, literally, what is it? John Cena's mad that that mediocrity has the belts. I mean, this mediocrity beat Roman Reigns. How is he mediocre? Roman Reigns beat John Cena. Roman Reigns was cooking John Cena on the mic. So how is he mediocre? Cody Rhodes 3-0'd Seth Rollins, 2-1 Brock Lesnar, and like back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. How is he mediocre? So it's a stupid storyline because John Cena's just talking out of his ass. You can't call the guy mid when he did something that you couldn't even do, which is 2-1 Brock Lesnar in a best of 3 series feud. 3-0 Seth Rollins, which you couldn't do either, and defeat Roman Reigns at his absolute peak. You couldn't do any of those, and you never were a back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. So what the heck is he talking about mediocrity? This is just a stupid feud. Well, at least from January, February to March. That's gonna be stupid feuds. Getting a little better now. Well, no, it's not really getting any better. I'm hoping that this Friday will at least, add a little more to it. But The Rock's supposed to be there. So great. Fantastic. Amazing. Oh, brother, this shit sucks. And then Jay versus Gunther is trash. Am I forgetting one? Oh, Cody and KO, like I said, was amazing. So, no, I'm giving this to AEW once again. I'm not naming the damn storylines. I already named all of them. I named all of them. I'm not going to keep naming them. I'm not going to keep repeating myself over and over, okay? I said which storylines were the best storylines. You heard me say all these damn storylines before. No point in me repeating it. I literally just repeated myself right there. So, overall, this first quarter has been an absolute clearing by AEW. There's a reason why WWE is, doing what they're doing right now with all these legends taking shots at AEW, with them not taking shots at AEW from their CEO and all that stuff. There's a reason why they're doing it. You can say that AEW will never surpass WWE in terms of popularity. It's probably not supposed to happen. It's probably not because WWE is a set thing. It's never going to, its prestigiousness just outweighs anything that AEW could do, unless like WWE just falls off. But even then, like, people are still going to know about WWE before they know about AEW. But WWE fears what AEW has done because these first 3 months have just been absolutely amazing from AEW as compared to WWE. That's why they're talking so much mess. You know what? I wasn't even going to talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it, man. This horrible PR week for WWE, man. This shit has been just atrocious. This is usually what happens with AEW, where a whole lot of stuff starts coming out about AEW, well, a whole lot of rumors start coming out about AEW. Buddy, we got folks in WWE, the 3 biggest names, doing it to themselves. Triple H, Nick Khan, and Roman Reigns. Let's just start off with Roman Reigns. No. Let's continue on with Nick Khan. So Nick Khan basically calls out AEW. Well, he doesn't say their name because obviously they're not going to say any names, but we know exactly what the hell he's talking about. He's not talking about no damn New Japan. They're not talking about no damn TNA. Talking about AEW signing talent and then not using them when they're going to be leaving, just instead allowing them to sit on the bench until their contract ends. I found that so stupid because it's like, I mean, I understand what he's saying, though. I 1000% agree with him there that AEW should be utilizing these folks, especially if they're big enough of a name to put somebody else over, or even if they're not big enough of a name, put a monster over by having them bury Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, Lexis King, Rusev / Miro, whatever you want to call them. And putting talent over, like Mariah May could put a talent over right now because Mariah May is a top carder in AEW, like whether she stays or not, she's the top carder wherever the hell she goes. So it's like, you know, she could put somebody over like a Julia Hart, like a Willow Nightingale, like a Megan Bain, literally anybody, but instead we're not using her. So I do get it, but it's like, dude, this is WrestleMania weekend, or WrestleMania week. Why are you calling out WWE? I mean, why are you calling out AEW? Talk about WrestleMania. Talk about the fact that you have 3 of your biggest superstars in triple threats, whether it be Rhea, Bianca, Io, or Roman, Seth, and Punk. Talk about that. Talk about how you have Cody Rhodes and Cena. Like, you don't have to talk about this. And for folks that are going to say, but he was asked in an interview about this. As a person who's been interviewed and given interviews, you literally give the interviewee a paper or an email. Well, it's usually an email, like a text, something like that. No, it's usually an email. It's like a Google document. You give them a little Google Doc and you say, this is also I'm going to be asking you. Can I ask you these things? Does anything need to be taken out? Nick Khan could literally say, take this out. I don't want this in there. The same way that they had a bunch of reporters asking Triple H a lot of questions that he was getting pressured into asking. I mean, that he's getting pressured into answering, and then they fired all those reporters so that they could not be, you know, present, so that they couldn't ask him any questions like that anymore. Yeah, the exact same thing here. I'm talking about the reporter, by the way, that asked Triple H about booking black male talent on PLEs, and he said, I don't see color, I see talent. That reporter has actually been fired. So it's like, what the heck, you know, just tell them I don't want to answer it. And then you got Triple H over here talking about this was the dumbest thing ever. So he basically said, and you can go read it, I'll throw it up on the screen for watching on YouTube. He basically said that fans should just shut the fuck up and enjoy the ride and stop saying that we need to pivot so much because we're not going to pivot. We know what's best for business. 1000% understand what Triple H is also saying. And I know folks, when they hear this part, they're gonna say, oh, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. I 1000% get what Triple H is saying, because as a writer myself, I understand that you can take and listen from the fans all you want, but sometimes it's up to you at the end. No, not sometimes. Most of the time, it's up to you to decide what is and what isn't going to happen in your story. 1000% get that. I've had people critique my story or, you know, drop theories and all that and say like, oh man, what if this happened? What if that happened? Like they like a whole freaking theory. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, it's not gonna happen, but I'd like to hear it. I don't go tell them like, yo, shut the fuck up and just enjoy the story. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm not gonna do this. This is stupid. Like, what? No. So like, for Triple H to say that, he just sounds like a whiny little bitch. Like, dude, what the heck was the point of that? I didn't get that at all. It just felt dumb to me. Like, imagine if Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, just came out and said, yo, you know how all y'all were talking about how Naruto should have turned heel, should have turned to a bad guy and joined the Akatsuki? Yeah, you guys are freaking idiots, man. Do you not know that like the Akatsuki would have like literally just killed Naruto? Which, I mean, 100% true. So everybody that says that Naruto should have went with the Akatsuki makes zero sense, you know, they were hunting him down. But it's like, if Kishimoto said that, he would look like a loser. He would look like a cornball. So it's like, I look at Triple H the exact same way. You look like a loser. You're now showing that you pay attention to the IWC. I already knew you're paying attention to the IWC because I knew how petty you were, and I could see it in the whole storytelling and all that stuff. But it's like, now you're just letting everybody know, oh, you're paying attention to us on social media. Okay, got it. So now when Ash makes posts talking about some black talent in WWE is being screwed over, women talent in WWE is being screwed over, now I know you're seeing it. Even if you say, like, even if he never comments on me personally saying it, I know that he's saying it because he just made comments about the IWC. It's so corny to me, in my opinion. But the corniest shit that came out this week was Roman Reigns being a Trump supporter. Now, let me make this clear. I don't give a fuck what your political beliefs are. I really, really don't. At the end of the day, I truly could care the hell less. But with that said, when somebody is as negatively speaking as Trump, it's just a thing for me where it's like, I don't think you should be speaking in support of this man, or else I believe that you believe that you align with a lot of his beliefs. Now, with that said, that's not what I think is corny about Roman Reigns, because if you want to be a Trump supporter, I don't freaking care, to be honest. The Undertaker's a Trump supporter. Bayley's a Trump supporter. Hogan definitely is a damn Trump supporter. Kane's a Trump supporter. And 99% of WWE are Trump supporters. I don't really care. Here's the issue for Roman Reigns, and here is my disgust with Roman Reigns, and I'm actually going to light his ass up because this is the sickest shit that I've actually seen. Roman Reigns is someone with leukemia. Leukemia is a form of cancer. There are many kids in this world who have leukemia, i.e. have cancer. Donald Trump literally stopped cancer research to be able to find a cure for it because of the fact that he felt that they had too much money into it. So he took away a lot of their funds. Now they're still able to do it, so they were able to get back going, I think 2 weeks later, something like that. But the fact that this man said, I feel like cancer research has too much funds, and Roman Reigns, a man with cancer who knows how painful it is because he's spoken about how painful it is, basically said, you know what? I don't care. I'm lining my pockets. I got the money to support myself. These kids, fuck these kids, man. If they ain't got the money to support themselves, that's on them for being broke. That's literally what he said. And I'm going to be real with you. I mean, look, he ain't say the word literally, but to me, that's literally what he said. And I'm going to be real. Roman Reigns looks like the corniest person on this damn planet right now. That would be like as if Donald Trump said, I'm going to stop this little research that supports the youth. And a teacher says, you know what? Yeah, I align with Donald Trump. Sweetie, you teach kids, and he's trying to stop stuff that is going to help kids, like, let's say, get free lunches or free education or something like that. No, free education, because it aligns more with the teacher. It'd be corny as hell, calling out a few you teachers, by the way, because he has basically said that. So yeah, no, Roman Reigns looks like the biggest cornball in the world. I have zero respect for this dude. I have now taken this guy off the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. If you say, why does politics got to get him in wrestling? Because Roman Reigns is the one that brought it up, and Roman Reigns said that politics is always in wrestling. So I'm bringing it up because he brought it up. There you go. Uno reverse card, bitch. Yeah, no, this guy just does not care about kids, and that's what it tells me. That's just what it tells me. And like, you know, for like, hey man, this might sound wrong for me to say. No, never mind, I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah, no, like, it's just sick to me because it's like the amount of kids that watch WWE, I guarantee you, some of them kids probably have cancer, and this guy just basically said, I don't care about y'all. I'm a millionaire. I have money to take care of myself and my family. You guys can't take care of your family. That's on you. So yeah, Roman Reigns is a fucking loser. Roman Reigns, I really don't care about this man anymore at all. I don't want to see this man get a championship ever again. It feels like he only did this so he could potentially get another WWE championship. And it's just like, bro, you're a pathetic human being, in my opinion. So yeah, no, I have zero care for Roman Reigns. You can go fuck yourself for all I care. But hey, you know who I do care about though? Shout out to my dog Seth Rollins, man. Officially after this whole Roman Reigns thing, I mean, I already had him over Roman Reigns to begin with, but officially the best wrestler over the past 10 years, man. My flamboyant king is just an absolute dog. Now, the reason why I say that Seth Rollins is the best wrestler of the past 10 years is because it kind of just goes into my whole statement that the third best wrestler is always the best wrestler. They're just so overlooked because they're not as popular as the other two. And I think Seth Rollins is a lot better than Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, in my opinion, in every single facet. I think mic work, character work, ring work, charisma, all that stuff. I think Seth Rollins has it and more. I think this guy is able to carry storylines. I thought I was bleeding for a second. He's able to carry storylines. He has some of the best storylines over the past 10 years. He has one of the biggest moments with the heist of the century. In my opinion, is the biggest moment of the past 10 years. You have the whole Beast Slayer arc where this guy 2-1'd Brock Lesnar. I forgot who the hell the Beast Slayer. I forgot who the hell the Beast was for a second. 2-1 Brock Lesnar. You have King Slayer, that whole amazing storyline after Triple H screwed him over by siding with Kevin Owens. We eventually got Seth Rollins, who was legitimately hurt going into an unsanctioned match against Triple H at WrestleMania. We had Seth Rollins and Randy Orton after Seth does join the Authority. Seth and Randy were butting heads for a little bit. Seth eventually takes out Randy Orton. We have that amazing moment. We have the amazing match at WrestleMania with that amazing moment where Seth Rollins gets hit with a curb stomp countered RKO. We have the feud with John Cena that sadly had like a really bad ending to that match where Jon Stewart gets involved. Still hate it to this day. But it was an amazing match regardless. I thought the feud was pretty dang good as well. We had the feud with Kevin Owens after obviously Kevin Owens was handpicked by Triple H to be the guy over Seth Rollins. I did also love the fact that like Seth Rollins versus Randy was Triple H's students feuding with each other, so that was pretty dang cool as well. And then we had obviously one of Randy Orton's biggest adversaries in Cena feuding with now Seth Rollins, so that was pretty dang cool as well. We had the fact that Seth Rollins carried Raw from 2021 to 2022, especially no, screw it. Even with Brock Lesnar as champion from 2021, from the beginning all the way to the end of 2022, he carried the hell out of it, man. If we're gonna be real, actually no, going further than that into Night of Champions 2023. And then obviously going forward the World Championship as well. So for 2021, 2022, and 2023, Seth Rollins definitely carried Monday Night Raw in my opinion. I think obviously you can make a great case for Cody and Rhea as well. I think Cody was a lot more on SmackDown though than Raw a lot of times. And Rhea Ripley didn't really have many great storylines. Seth Rollins at least did against the likes of Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura. You had the stuff with Drew McIntyre. You had stuff with you had the really great match and kind of story with AJ Styles. And there was another one as well that I'm forgetting. But this guy carried it as worldweight champion. This guy carried it when there was no top belt there. And he carried it for 2021 when even though there was a top belt, it was with Brock Lesnar. And we know Brock Lesnar was never going to be doing anything with that damn belt. And he was mainly on SmackDown because that's where Roman Reigns was at. So yeah, he did all that. Then we have the fact that he literally just, made the storyline with Roman and Punk a lot bigger than it should have actually been. And he's also technically responsible for Roman Reigns becoming the tribal chief because had it not been that chair shot to the back, that never would have happened. We have the Messiah, Seth Rollins, which is arguably one of the most underrated characters of all time. It was such a damn good time. And he was having a really damn good feud with Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, the whole Mysterio family that eventually led to him versus Buddy Matthews. Oh, was his name? What was his name? Buddy. Was it just Buddy? No, it was like Buddy something. Buddy, what was this man's name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. But we had that, though. We had the great feud with Cody Rhodes. Oh my gosh, top tier feud in my opinion. One of Seth Rollins' best feuds, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this might actually be Cody Rhodes' best feud. I like the Roman Reigns stuff, but his feud with Seth Rollins, I think, was top tier, man. Especially the ending with the Hell in a Cell match with the torn pec and all that stuff. Yeah, no, these guys are dogs, man. I just think that Seth Rollins is the best wrestler over the past 10 years, and I think there's like cases you can make for other people, but who really has as decorated of a 10-year run as Seth Rollins in the past 10 years? I don't think it's Cody Rhodes. I don't think it's Roman Reigns. I don't think it's Sasha Banks. I don't think it's Asuka. I don't think it's Charlotte Flair. I don't think it's Bayley, even though Sasha and Bayley definitely carried the pandemic era for sure. I don't think it's Bianca. I don't think it's Rhea. I don't think it is Randy Orton. I don't think it's Edge. Obviously, he wasn't even there that long. I don't think it's AJ Styles. Like, I don't think there's anybody else there that you could say had a better 10-year run than Seth Rollins. If you want to say Brock Lesnar, I mean, I guess, but like, no, because his feud with Roman Reigns wasn't even good. His feud with Cody Rhodes, they didn't even explain it well. I had to make a whole video explain that damn feud. So like, no, I don't really think it's anybody else. Kevin Owens is probably the only one Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are like the two that I would say I could hear you out on. But I'm not going to say that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had better 10-year runs than Seth Rollins, in my opinion, because Kevin Owens came in at 2017. Sami Zayn's, I think, same thing. We did get a little bit of stuff with them, but like Kevin Owens' Universal run was just whatever. Sami Zayn, for like his first 2-3 years, was getting his ass whooped every single time and losing damn near every single match. Gunther, no, I think he came in too late. Finn Balor could have been a guy, but sadly the injuries and all that stuff, and then WWE kind of just gave up on him. The Usos, the New Day, I will be fair to these tag teams, but they are tag teams at the end of the day, so it's like it's 2 guys, 3 guys sometimes instead of just one dude doing all this on his own, so I got to give Seth Rollins that edge there. Factions, again, I'm doing the exact same thing there. No, I'm not giving a faction the edge over one guy. Well, you know, I'll be fair because Seth Rollins was in a faction, so that does have to actually be stated. I would say Seth Rollins still had a better run than the Usos and the New Day within the span of 10 years, in my opinion. Street Profits, same thing. I think Seth Rollins is the guy, man. I think when a lot of people talk about Seth Rollins, they are very underrating of Seth Rollins, man. Like, everybody says Seth Rollins is great. Seth Rollins is like a legend, but nobody respects him in the way that he should be respected. Like, I feel like Shawn Michaels gets this same kind of rep where it's like, Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And everybody says that. And everybody would agree with you on that. But if you say Shawn Michaels is top 5, now everybody's scratching their head. Why are you scratching your head? Why the hell is Stone Cold above Shawn Michaels? Why the hell is The Rock above Shawn Michaels? Why is Triple H of all people above Shawn Michaels? Shawn Michaels is better than Triple H. Why is Ric Flair above Shawn Michaels? Why is The Undertaker above Shawn Michaels? Like, don't get me wrong. I don't care for The Undertaker as a human. He has some damn near iconic. He has damn near. He has some damn iconic matches against the likes of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, Edge, Brock Lesnar, and I'm forgetting somebody else. But he has some damn good ass matches. Some elite ass matches. But Shawn Michaels just does everything better. Like, are we only basing this top 5 on how popular you were? Are we only basing it on how high your peak was? Because I feel like the length of your career should hold much more weight. Seth Rollins was one of the top 5 wrestlers for 10 straight years, in my opinion. In my opinion, he was. So I feel like being top 5 for 10 straight years, that should say a lot. Shawn Michaels was one of the top 5, if not top 3, even top 2 and top 1s at some time for multiple years. Obviously, he did get hurt, so that kind of, that kind of messed him up at one point in time. But it's like, I feel like Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels should be somewhere in that top 5, in my opinion. I don't think that they should get slighted just because they weren't more popular than the other guy in their era, especially Seth Rollins, man, because it's like, we put so much stock into this like Roman Reigns tribal chief thing, and I get it. Roman Reigns before that didn't do much. Can you name a top tier storyline that Roman Reigns had before the tribal chief run? Exactly. I waited. Y'all didn't. Okay. Thank you very much. What did Cody Rhodes do before this? Obviously, you can't say much because he was only there for the past 3 years. If you want to count Ring of Honor and all that stuff, that's a whole different conversation. But I personally wouldn't count it. It makes no sense. We're just talking about WWE. So it's like, no, I think that Seth Rollins has been that guy for the past 10 years. And I think that he is top 5 all time. I have Seth Rollins in my top 5. I have Edge there. I have Seth Rollins there. I have AJ Lee there. I have Lita there. And I have Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks there, in my opinion. And I think that's, like, if you want to separate yours and do the men and women, sure. I don't separate mine, though. I just age them all similarly, grade them all similarly. So, yeah, similarly. What the? Am I saying it right? Similarly? No, similar. Whatever. You know what, man? I'm Shelton Benjamin today, man. You know, MJF brought the baddies around. Wait, no, he did not, man. Never mind. No, he did not. But hey, you know what, man? Since we're talking about MJ, since we brought it up, man, let's go ahead and talk about spring break through. I got a list of topics that we're just going to be kind of like speed rushing through and all that because there's not really much to be said other than that MJF is still trying his hardest to get with the ops. I do think there's some, double backstabbing going on here because obviously you had MJF. No, my bad. MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley were backstage, and they were both trying to talk some sense into Bobby Lashley by saying, "Hey, you know what, man? Let's just get this guy with us, man. He's very conniving and all that stuff. And if things go wrong, we hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people, and that's what they're gonna do to MJF." Now, it was funny because I don't know if the guy that was standing in the back, because there was two guys there. I don't know if one of those guys was MJF or not, but it looked like one of them was. So it's like, I wonder if MJF heard what they said and now he really is going to be plotting on them. I do think that MJF is trying to not only get an AEW World Championship out of these guys, I think that he's also going to be likely backstabbing them as well. I could still see a scenario play out where MVP does choose to side with MJF because he's a younger guy rather than siding with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. If we do go that route, though, I would love to see MVP eventually get back with the Hart Syndicate because I still want to see the Hart Syndicate go to therapy, have a nice little therapy session because, hurt people. And then the next week on Dynamite Collision, they can come out and say, "We help people. We help people. We help people." They're going to be the helpful business. So they can get their name back, too. See, look at that right there. But yeah, no, I would just love to see that. But I'm interested to see what this whole MJF Hurt Syndicate stuff does go because I think this does eventually lead to MJF getting a world title shot at Hangman Adam Page if he is the guy to get the world championship from Jon Moxley, which is starting to seem a little more and more like it is that because I think that's what this whole MJF thing is going to. So I'm not mad at it by any means. The next thing we did have happen was my dog, Nick Wayne. Y'all see my dog? Got the I was about to say the AEW World Championship. My goodness, got the Ring of Honor TV Championship from Commander. I absolutely love it, man, because I think Nick Wayne is somebody that now needs a little bit of a push. This is going to help him a lot going into the New Japan Super Junior weight thingamajiggy, whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. It's going to help him going into that, though. We also... My bad, I had my dang chin hair in my mouth. It's really long, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, no, I think it's going to really help him just kind of get his name much bigger. A lot of people are going to be looking at him like, oh, he's a champion. Wow, okay, we got to pay more attention to this guy. And I think Commander's going to get the Ring of Honor World Championship at some point in time within like the next few months. I don't think Bandito needs to hold it that long by any means. Commander is... Gosh, dude, I see why AEW did have... My bad, I started choking for a second. Started choking up, talking about the hurt business is going to therapy and all that stuff, and that we helping people. Oh, man, they need to come help me. Also, I do want to see Bobby Lashley if they do become the helpful business. I want to see Bobby Lashley being like that overly aggressive, helpful person, and Shelton Benjamin and MVP got to rail a bit and be like, we can't be like that, Bobby. You can't be talking about how you gonna kill somebody for somebody because they hurt them. No, we gotta rail it in, be soft and caring and sensitive and all that stuff. So yeah, but Commander's definitely gonna get that Ring of Honor World Championship. Ring of Honor World Championship. I see why they let Rey Fenix go because this guy is everything Rey Fenix is. He's so freaking good, man. Commander, I said it. I don't know if I said it on here or not. If I said it in a video. I could see this guy eventually getting that unified international continental belt if it does happen because he's just that damn good, man. And by having Alex still on his side, which looks like he's not going to go with Rey Fenix and Penta, I absolutely love this for Commander because now he has a guy that, since he doesn't, have the best English in the world, this guy can get over for him or can help him get over even more. It's going to be an absolutely amazing thing for Commander wherever he gets to. I do want to see him get that belt though eventually. I want to see him get a TNT championship eventually as well. And hey, if he becomes good enough, I want to see him get the Ring of Honor World Championship. I really do. I think once he finds a character, which is always a hard thing for a lot of luchadors because they're so heavy into the wrestling and obviously behind the mask and all that stuff. It is hard for them to find characters. I think if he is able to find one, it's going to help him so much. Or at least if they could find some kind of like character for him and Alex, it's going to help them so much. And I think if he does get that character, you're slapping an AEW World Championship on this man. You're not even second guessing it because this guy is just that damn good in my opinion. What else did we also? Oh yeah, we also had Josh Alexander debuting as well, along with joining the Don Callis family. I really love this for Josh Alexander and the Don Callis family because he's called the walking weapon. He's a lunatic. He's a psychopath. This guy is going to be able to do things for the Don Callis family that I feel like are going to look a lot more believable, seeing as he is a former world heavyweight champion in TNA. So not only that, but he's also just a top tier dominant wrestler that actually looks like a psychopath with the headgear and all that stuff. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be perfect for these guys. They're going to be able to have like they're going to have this weapon that whenever they just need him to, hurt somebody, he's going to be able to do it. And he's going to be able to keep the belt, whatever belt that Konosuke Takeshita or Kyle Fletcher eventually get. He's going to be able to keep that belt on them. We also had Adam Cole's open challenge. I love this for Adam Cole. This is what we're going to do going forward. He had the open challenge against Claudio Castagnoli. He looked really damn good against them as well. This is what we're gonna do with him going forward. I love it, man. Open challenges are always really fun, and I think he's just gonna be a guy that whenever we do eventually add a story into this whole open challenge thing, it's gonna be that much better because this guy could just tell the hell out of a story. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita might have arguably just had a match of the year in my opinion. This thing was so damn good. My goodness, man. Oh my God, these two are just. Oh, man, the two best wrestlers in the world just going against each other. It was a thing of beauty. I was absolutely hyped, man. The ending where they're just hitting each other's finishers, and you're just not sure who the hell's going to win between these two. It's just, oh, man, I love seeing just top-tier wrestlers just wrestle each other, man. It's just a thing of beauty. It really, really is, because it's just like when they get together, it's like, magic is going to happen. Whenever you're an elite wrestler, like you're one of the best wrestlers in the world, and you're facing another one of the best wrestlers in the world, there's no such thing as like chemistry, because it's already just it's just magic is going to happen. You guys could have never wrestled each other before, even though you guys have obviously wrestled each other before, but you can never wrestle each other before, and it's like when you get in the ring, it's just like it's just poetry in motion, man. It's like it's like Kobe and Shaq, bro. It's like LeBron and D Wade. It's just a thing of beauty. And the same thing happened with Mercedes Moné and Athena. Like, oh my God, these women have never had a match against each other. They never have, because, and I checked, I did not see one match, so I could be, so unless I just missed it somewhere, they didn't have a match against each other because Mercedes Moné and Sasha Banks came up in WWE while Ember Moon was still in NXT, and then by the time that Ember Moon got up, she was on SmackDown, and Sasha Banks was on Raw. Ember Moon eventually left way before Sasha Banks did, so I don't think they would have ever crossed paths with each other, because by the time that Sasha did leave, it was 2022, and by the end of 2022, Athena was holding the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, so I don't think they would have met around that time either. So yeah, no, I didn't see anything. Again, I could be wrong on that, so that's my bad if I am. But these women just, oh, baby, this was a beautiful match. I wish it was the closing. I understand why the main event. I understand why it wasn't the main event, because of obviously what happened in the main event. But my goodness, man, this had like big fight feel right from the beginning. You had the crowd just playing into it so much. You had these women just locked up, two absolute just goats at their position, just dogs, elite women, could not get over on each other. They're grappling all the way out. No, my bad. They're locking up all the way to the outside of the ring, all the way up the ramp, all the way back into the ring, and then it's just right as soon as the first one just finally gets over, that's when the magic just happened. And these women just had a 5-star classic match, in my opinion. I absolutely love this for Mercedes and Athena, because they basically told everybody back there, hey, yo, Will, hey, yo, Takeshita, y'all gonna be having a match later, right? Yeah, no, y'all better go top that. Y'all better go top that, because if y'all don't top that, I mean, it can never be us. It can never be us. And they put the whole locker room on notice. And I feel like with that match kicking off the night, every match afterwards is just absolutely amazing. Even the main event, the main event was really, really damn good. But I feel like because these two women just raised the bar, it made every other match that much better. Mercedes Moné versus Athena is probably I'm gonna have it at like number 1. I'm having it at number 1. I have Will Ospreay versus Takeshita at number. Oh, man. I'm going to say number 2. Gimmicky matches, it's hard for me to put them any higher. So Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, I really, really love. Top tier match. I just think that when you have a singles match, no stipulation, and you're able to do that, yeah, I have to rank it a lot higher. Like Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet for me is a top 3 match because of the fact that it's a non-stipulation one-on-one singles match. And then there's a triple threat. I'm going to say Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kenny Omega versus Ricochet, and then I'll go with Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Yeah, that's where I would probably go next. You could also go Tony Storm, Mariah May if you want to throw that one in there as well. It's really between those two. I think I like Will. No, I don't know which one I like a bit more. I really like how Will and Kyle had a lot longer match. It feels like Tony and Mariah didn't have that long of a match, but my God, it was a brutal match. So I'm going to say this. I think these matches are just tied for 5th. That's what I'm just going to say, and I'm going to end it there because I don't know where else to really go further from that. But speaking of the Ops a minute ago, the Ops did beat the Death Riders. Obviously, Hook is going to be out for some time. He has a concussion, possibly has a neck injury as well. I really wish they didn't, continue doing what they did. I wish Claudio could have kind of just, pivoted and just maybe folded the chair, like just laid the chair out, or I don't even know. I just wouldn't even have done it because this man's over here throwing up and all that stuff. It looked absolutely sick. I hope the best for Hook, man. I really, really do. This guy, look at, man, I may have said that I'm not I may have said that I'm not a fan of Hook. That doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the person, okay? I think the person is fine. I just don't ever get into the Hook character, but I really do hope that this guy is 100% good going forward because, that just looked really nasty. I don't know what the heck even happened in the match for him to get a concussion, but obviously it's wrestling, though. It's just going to happen. So, yeah, no, I really do hope the best for him. I don't necessarily like Powerhouse Hobbs being with the Ops, though. It's cool because Powerhouse Hobbs has the whole story with Jon Moxley and all that stuff, so I get it. Man, I really wish this was somebody else, though. I don't know. I don't really like him being with the group. I feel like he doesn't really fit the group that much, especially because, Samoa Joe and Katsuyori Shibata and Hook were all technicians. Powerhouse Hobbs is a powerhouse. He's not a technician, so I would have really loved how they could have thrown Josh Alexander in this group and maybe not turned him heel. That would have been much better in my opinion. Then I would have had power. Well, I guess then what do you do with Powerhouse Hobbs? Because you're not putting him in the Hangman Adam Page match to turn him into a Don Callis guy because he already was one. You can find somebody else though. I would have done this. I would have used Josh Alexander here in my opinion. So yeah. Oh man, just imagine. Man, now I'm mad that we didn't get Josh Alexander with the freaking Ops, man. My goodness. Also, what is Tony Khan's weird fetish with bald men? What is his weird fetish with this? Josh Alexander is bald. Ricochet is bald. The Hurt Syndicate are basically all bald. MVP is going bald. Let's just be real about that. This man just signs a bunch of bald folk. Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball, not Speedbald Mike Bailey. Gosh, we don't need to see Speedball Mike Bailey bald. He's not bald, and obviously Kevin Knight's not bald, but there's a lot of bald folk that are being signed in AEW. There's a lot of bald folk that are being pushed to the top. Like you have Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. You got Don Callis having a big old storyline as well. It's just a lot of baldness everywhere, man. You even had Kyle Fletcher basically go bald. I know he got like a little fade and all that, but he basically went bald. That's like a 1, which a 1 is basically bald, man. Come on, his hair just stands up. That's the only difference about it. Had he not had hair that could stand up and all that stuff, he would basically be bald too, man. So yeah, man, what's up with all these bald motherfuckers going around AEW, man? This is all bald wrestling. Oh my gosh. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the last topic that I want to talk about today, which is the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Let me make sure I just got everything first. I think I did. Yep. Okay. So we have our final 3 participants for the men's and women's side of the tournament. We have Hangman Adam Page, Will Ospreay, and Kyle Fletcher on one side. And for the women's side, we have Mercedes Moné, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. I think every single one of these folks has a really damn good story if they do dethrone their respective champion, and even going into possibly dethroning their respective champion. I'm going to start on the men's side of things first because I want to start off with the one Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher, obviously being the Hodo star, you can call him also Kyle Slutcher. This guy dresses like one. He loves his little skinny jeans and crop tops, man. Nah, I'm just playing. But nah, Kyle Fletcher has a really good story here of finally living up to the potential that, has always been said about him, that he could be the next Will Ospreay, that he could be the next best wrestler in the world. So by being the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley, that's going to be one step closer towards proving it. The other storyline that we could run here, though, is that Don Callis has two guys in Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher who are both under 30 years old, who both have best in the world potential, who also both wrestle in a style that is not going to, get them injured most likely, because of the fact that they have a very physical, striking kind of style. So they can wrestle until they're like 45, 46 years old if they really, really want to. So it's like, who does Don Callis pick for his guy? Because obviously Takeshita had the belt, and, Kyle Fletcher was very happy for him every single time. He was always, rocking with him, always there by his side and stuff like that. But how is Takeshita going to feel, though? Is Takeshita going to be happy with Kyle Fletcher if he gets the AEW World Championship? And now here we go with Don Callis parading him around, praising him, calling him the best wrestler in the world, because that's what he does with Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher has no issue with it because he knows that he's also the best wrestler in the world. So what does happen between these two guys? Well, I think, egos could start getting in the way. We could see now that Josh Alexander's in the group that Takeshita can look at it and be like, we're helping you get this win. Josh is helping you get this win. I'm helping you get these wins. You're not really the guy you think you are. Very, very similar to Seth Rollins. And we could actually run a Seth Rollins, Randy Orton-esque storyline here with Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita, where, because of the egos and the jealousies and all that stuff, eventually we have Kyle Fletcher take out Konosuke Takeshita. We don't need to... do we want to turn Takeshita heel, though, is the only thing. Because I really do like him do we want to turn him face? Because I really do like him as a heel. I'm not mad about it, honestly. I'm honestly not mad about it. So we could have Kyle Fletcher eventually turn on him, or we could do the reverse and have Konosuke Takeshita turn on Kyle Fletcher, attacking him, and then he eventually gets a big AEW World Championship match against Kyle Fletcher, where I would put Kyle over. I think whether Kyle attacks him or he attacks Kyle, I think Kyle needs to go over Takeshita right now, because unless we're saying that we're going to put the AEW World Championship on Takeshita, which I'm all here for, by the way, I absolutely love that. If we're doing that, hell yeah. There's an even better thing that we could do, which is close off Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. They've only had the two matches. They need a third match. Everybody needs to have a third match. We're not doing a best of two series, the best of three series. And if we do a best of two, they're both, well, technically speaking, Kyle Fletcher would already have won because he won the first one. That's a best of two. But they're tied right now. Can't do that. So we could have their third match, where I think you do put Will Ospreay over, only because Will Ospreay, unlike Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, doesn't have a wrestling style that allows him to wrestle until his mid-40s. He probably looks like he's gonna be retiring very, very soon, within like the next 4 or 5 years. So I think you gotta use him as much as you can over these next 4 to 5 years, which that means putting the AEW World Championship on him, having him defeat one of his biggest adversaries in one, Kyle Fletcher, and then you can kind of have Will Ospreay go on his best in the world, or well, on another level tour where he's just taking out all the top guys. And that's what I think Will Ospreay's storyline would also be if he was the one to dethrone Jon Moxley, is that his thing is going to be that everybody else has tried it. You had Hangman Adam Page, you had Jay White, you had a legend like Cope, you had Swerve Strickland, you had Samoa Joe, because we know that he's going to get that match against Jon Moxley, likely a Double or Nothing, or sometime before that. Maybe they get like a little best of 3 series. I don't know. There's like 6 weeks heading into Double or Nothing. So who the heck knows what they're going to be doing this whole storyline? I'm assuming they're going to be setting up Double or Nothing. Blood and Guts, so Young Bucks and 2 members, probably like Claudio and Pac. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, and they're going to be setting up Blood and Guts and all that stuff, so that's what I think they'll do. But all of these guys that have tried to take down Jon Moxley couldn't do it, so here comes Will Ospreay to say, all right, man, I got my big boy pants on. Let me show you guys how it's done, since you guys couldn't do it because you're just not on another level. Gosh, I hate the phrase, but whatever, man. It's going to be his whole little thing. And then, obviously, even though he does beat Jon Moxley, even though he does beat Jon Moxley, whatever. Anyways, Will Ospreay would eventually dethrone Jon Moxley, and then it's going to be a thing of like, yeah, he did beat Jon Moxley, but is he actually the best wrestler? Because there's guys like Swerve and Takeshita that Takeshita never got a shot at Jon Moxley, and for Swerve, even though he did get a shot, he got screwed over. So it's like now Will Ospreay's whole thing could be taking down all the best guys, and these guys have beaten Will Ospreay before. Obviously, Will Ospreay did, just beat Takeshita, so he kind of would have a little thing against Takeshita, saying that I already did beat you. But they are also, I think, 1-1 right now. If I'm not mistaken, I think Takeshita's beating Will Ospreay. No, well, he beat him in a triple threat, so never mind. And the Will Ospreay beat Takeshita last year, so yeah, never mind. But like Takeshita could still just, say that he's the best in the world, and we don't even need to say he's not, because I said he is, and you're all gonna have to deal with that. Even though I said, y'all allowed to have your own opinions. Konosuke Takeshita is the best. Is solidified over here. So like we could run that, and like just whoever else we want to run. Jay White. You could run Kyle Fletcher if you want to at some point in time, so we can, like, whether Will or Kyle gets it, I think we're going to get a Will versus Kyle match at some point in time for the AEW World Championship. I think that's where part 3 would happen at. We can run the storyline like that. Now, for Hangman Adam Page, he probably has the best storyline here because of the fact that it's going to be Hangman Adam Page has always been the hero that AEW needed. He tried taking down Chris Jericho, but he could not do it. Then he eventually took down Kenny Omega. He tried taking down Jon Moxley back in 2022, but he couldn't. He tried taking down CM Punk, but he couldn't. He eventually tried taking... he did try taking down Swerve Strickland, and he was able to accomplish it. Now it's on to Jon Moxley, but if I just said that pattern, it means that he would lose to Jon Moxley because he lost after he took down a guy. So, yeah. Well, actually, no, his stuff with Jon Moxley never finished. So it went to CM Punk, but never defeated CM Punk. So, yeah, no, it would be lost to Chris Jericho, beat Kenny Omega, lost to CM Punk, beat Swerve Strickland. Oh, so he's losing to Jon Moxley. Never mind. We don't even have to worry about this one. No, but let's just say he does win anyways. Let's just say the pattern doesn't actually follow. So he gets to prove that he is the hero of AEW. Everybody's going to love it. It's the cowboy. You're in Texas. It makes so much sense. It's going to be a beautiful moment. And I think we can even have Swerve Strickland pull a Hangman Adam Page, where it's like he doesn't know who to actually help. Because I don't think at any point in time should we actually have Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page overcome their issues with each other. I do not think that needs to actually happen until Hangman Adam Page gets the AEW World Championship. Then we finally run Hangman versus Swerve one last time, and this is where it's going to be a really emotional feud, because we all know that these guys want to admit to each other that they're wrong, that they're sorry for what they did, but they're probably not going to do it until it comes down to a damn match, and these guys just beat the living hell out of each other. So they have their amazing match, and at the end of it, these guys are just both like on their knees, like just in hella pain, or they're even just laying down, whichever one. And then they just get up and they look at each other, and Swerve Strickland or Hangman Adam Page, maybe like, I see it happening. Actually, I can see Swerve Strickland not wanting to hug Hangman because he did lose, but then Hangman just pulls him in and he hugs him, and these guys are just hugging in the middle of the ring. It's an absolutely beautiful moment. And for all the fan figures out there, I know y'all gonna have them like kiss afterwards and all that stuff. So that's a blast, man. A little wake up right there. But yeah, no, I think the best one for the men, I would probably go with Hangman Adam Page. I like Will Ospreay and I like Kyle Fletcher possibly getting it. I just think it might be a tad bit too early for Kyle Fletcher, but honestly, I'm not mad if this guy does win, because it's going to be a really damn good thing if we do run Kyle Fletcher versus Konosuke Takeshita. And with the Don Callis family looking like it's going to be on top this year, yeah, no, I'm definitely all here for Kyle Fletcher getting that. Unless we just do it in the mid-card scene, like we have Kyle Fletcher dethrone Kenny Omega or something like that, and then we could actually, if we do that, we could even have it be a thing of like where eventually these guys, him and Takeshita butt heads, and he says, well, at least I was able to beat Kenny, unlike you, and then that just causes Konosuke Takeshita to go overboard and just start attacking and whooping Kyle Fletcher's ass. Now, on the women's side of things, we actually have 3 pretty interesting storylines here, because for Chris Statlander, she's going to be defeating Jamie Hayter, former AEW Women's World Champion, Mercedes Moné, 4 belts, Moné, Rev Pro Undisputed Champion, New Japan Strong Women's Champion, and TBS Champion. And then she would defeat Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship, while also Toni Storm being a 3 to 4 time AEW Women's World Champion. So she defeated 3 greats within AEW. That's going to stamp her in that top card scene where I feel like she does need to be stamped. Now, what we could do from here is we can run Megan Bayne if we really wanted to. We could run not Julia Hart. Well, we could run Julia Hart as well. We can even run a whole emotional story with Willow Nightingale too, if we really, really, really wanted to. And I'm not even mad at that if we do, because I would have Willow Nightingale dethrone Chris Statlander, so we can also put her into that top spot as well, because I think there's a few women coming from Ring of Honor that are going to be within that TBS scene, so we could take Willow, take Chris, put them into the top spot, and then take anybody that's in that top spot and probably put them in Ring of Honor or put them in the TBS scene, one of the two. So yeah, I really do like this for Chris Statlander, because she's a woman that I said, even though her mic skills need to get up a little bit, I think everything else she does really dang well, especially in the ring. And you're telling me right now that I'm going to get Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander at Double or Nothing Part 3 after I just seen Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron versus Chris Statlander and Julia Hart. Oh yes, baby, sign me up, please. Also, Mercedes Moné is now 19-2 in AEW, but those 2 losses are not because of her getting pinned. So really, she's 21-0 if I'm counting. So yeah, and I am counting. So yeah, no, I definitely would love to see part 3 of Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné. It's just going to be absolutely beautiful. For Jamie Hayter, it's really just a story of revenge. She's finally able to get back her AEW Women's World Championship that she lost back in 2022 because the Outcast took her out, i.e. the Outcast were Ruby Soho, Saraya, and Toni Storm. So she's able to get that back from her. And then we also have and then after she does defeat Toni Storm, it's just going to be, giving her the championship run that she didn't get to, finish back in 2022. So whether it's like a 3-4 month run, a 2-3 month run, or a 1 to 2 month run, whatever we do with it, it's basically just a continuation of what she did back in 2022. And, just kind of saying that we still see that, you're one of our best wrestlers and we want to pay you back in full. And then we could put Megan Bayne over her if we really wanted to be honest. If Mariah May's still in AEW, we could have Mariah May go over Jamie Hayter if we want to do that as well. I love either one of these, to be honest. I think both of these are really good, but I think the best one that we should go with, which is the one that I'm going to pick, is Mercedes Moné, because I like the thought of Mercedes Moné either A, going into the championship match, or B, after the championship match, dropping all the belts. I don't think she should lose them, though. I think she should drop them. Just say, I don't want these belts anymore. I'm done with you now. I don't want to play with you anymore. That's what I was trying to get to. But I would do it after, because then it's a bigger slap in the face to all these belts. And you might think, well, why would you want to slap these companies in the face? Because it's going to help whatever faces they have. So like, let's say for the New Japan Strong Women's belt, we have Hazuki go after it. Let's say for the AEW TBS Championship belt, is it called the AEW TBS Championship belt? No, it's called the TBS Championship belt. For the TBS Championship belt, we could have Julia Hart, we could have Megan Bayne, not Megan Bayne, we could have Julia Hart, we could have Willow, we could have Chris, or whoever really wants that TBS belt. And then for the Rev Pro Undisputed belt, I'm going to be real with you, I don't watch Rev Pro, so I don't actually know any of the wrestlers over there, but we could have one of their biggest baby faces all going after this belt, create tournaments to get this belt. And then we have those women just constantly saying why they need this belt, that they hate what Mercedes did. They feel like Mercedes just slapped, just slapped all of them in the face. And it's going to make it so much better, because remember when, I love how I made this reference twice now, by the way. Remember when Aaron Yeager, yes, I'm going back to this, was basically trying to destroy all the world, but also gave everybody a chance to take him down, so he became the most hated. That's going to help everybody else out, because of the fact that everybody started teaming together to try to take down Aaron Yeager. Well, the same thing, and obviously people started rooting for that. The whole world is rooting for these guys to take down Aaron Yeager. Even the Marlians were rooting for the dang people who were rooting for like Levi and Mikasa and Armin and all of them to take down Aaron. The same exact thing is kind of be playing out here, is that Mercedes Moné is going to be so hated that these other women, whoever gets it, is going to be so loved for getting that belt and respecting that belt the way it needs to be respected, so that it's going to make their run to the belt 10 times better, in my opinion. I don't think you need to run 5 belts, Moné, like months upon months. We don't need to do that at all. And we're definitely not going to have her break the TBS Championship record, because that would be all the way until October. So I would really love to see that storyline play out with Mercedes Moné. I think it would be a really great thing. And as far as Mercedes versus Tony, this is literally just best versus best. This is Mercedes, who has never ran into either Mariah May or Toni Storm during her whole entire time being in AEW, and neither Toni Storm nor Mariah May running into Mercedes Moné. While they've been in AEW, we're finally getting it. The best versus the best. And I'm going to absolutely love this match so damn much. It's going to be a really, really damn good one, man. Oh, man, we're going to get Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. Oh, baby, sign me up. And please make it the main event of All In. I know they won't because of freaking Jon Moxley. Oh, my goodness, man. I had a little mini crash out there. But, yeah, I think Mercedes and Hangman should be the ones to win. Y'all let me know who do y'all think y'all should be the ones to dethrone them. And on Spotify, I will have like a multi-option so that you can pick anybody from that poll. On YouTube, obviously, just comment in the comment section down below. Apple Podcast, again, whisper it to me, and I will hear it. Don't worry. Ouch, I hit the dang mic. But that's going to be it for me, though, y'all. I do want to, little self-promotion, yada, yada, bullshit. My YouTube, Let's Player Ash, which is my gaming channel, I actually just dropped a WWE 2K25 My GM mode, and I've had a really fun time with it so far. If y'all can go check that out. I got Nia Jax, who's a Slim Jim sponsor, throwing Slim Jims at kids, throwing Slim Jims at Roxanne Perez. I got Roxanne Perez almost getting canceled because she thought Sol Ruca was a lesbian. I got Javon Evans and Wesley in a battle for the streets of NXT. I got a whole lot of wonky things going on here, man. I'm gonna be doing this for like the next five episodes. It's gonna be like one episode a week. I might even go past the draft if I really, really want to. My bad. I might go past season 1 if I really, really decide to. I'm not sure yet. We'll kind of see what happens. Maybe I'll do like this one, and I'll do like an AEW version with like a bunch of AEW superstars if I can draft them, or like try and do something there if I can. We'll see. But yeah, it was on Let's Player Ash. It'll be in the description. There's a beacons and all that stuff. You can hit that. Go to the go scroll all the way down. It'd be like the last one that says Ash Plays. Go check that out for me, man, if y'all really could, because I appreciate it so much. But for now, y'all, that's it. I'm out, though. I'm out. I'm out. Y'all have a great one. Again, wherever you're at, like, follow, share, notification bell, subscribing, share it to your friends, your family, your dog, your mama. Your mama's a part of your family, unless your mama's not part of your family. Unless, you got one of those kind of mamas. You got your little mommy. Hey, well, go ahead and share it to her too, man. Share it to your poppies as well, man. Share it to whoever, man, you want to share it to, man. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, though, y'all. I'm out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do like a whole WrestleMania episode or not. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be watching WrestleMania. We'll have to see what happens, how I feel going forward. But yeah, y'all have a great one, though, y'all. Peace.